Hey, it's the Brian and Kindra Show.
Part 2.
Okay, so we were talking about foreclosures, but then
Yes.
we accidentally talked a lot about short sales,
Which is
which is the first part. It's like the precursor to a short sale.
right.
I'm sorry.
It could be
I said that wrong.
precursor
Short
to a
sale.
foreclosure.
Yes, a short sale is a precursor to a foreclosure.
Like we can do a short sale to prevent you from foreclosure.
We hope, and that would be
That's the
what we
best
would
case scenario inside of that situation.
Okay, so really quick recap. And if you missed it last week and you're like, what on earth are these people talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so a short sale is whenever a seller finds himself unable to make their payments, and after they haven't made their payments for usually it's 3 payments that have been missed,
Yep.
then they might be eligible for a short sale in which they would, if their home is not sellable at the value in which they owe on their mortgage, their mortgage company may take less. They may take a short amount of what is owed and allow us to sell it less so that they can be out of the situation and everybody can move on.
And how can they do that? I know we're getting back into the short sale.
You have to make it snappy.
Mortgage insurance. You got a bunch of people pay mortgage insurance because they owe more than 80%.
Right.
Mortgage insurance is one of those things that helps compensate the banks for this loss. So you, if you think about it business-wise, you're paying for insurance against the bank losing money on your house. So don't risk your family's anxiety, stress,
Right.
and don't risk your family's mental health. If you're going to lose your house, don't risk all that. The bank's
Right.
insured.
Yes.
We don't like it,
No.
but they're insured. It's part of the risk of their end.
Mm-hmm.
You bought the house saying, I think I can do it. I'm going to buy the house. I'm going to do everything I can to do it. Oh, I can't do it. It's a business transaction. Now the bank has insurance against it. They're going to get covered on a very amount of money. So they're willing to take a loss because they'll just file it on the insurance. The insurance paid them. They don't lose anything.
Right.
You're still the loser in the transaction because and I don't mean to use it that way, but you're losing. Let's make it tolerable.
The loss hurts you the most is what you're saying.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
And we recognize that because it's an emotional and a financial hurt here.
Yeah.
It's a big deal, and we totally get that. So short sales were, if you find yourself in that position and you are late on your payments and you cannot make them and you don't know what to do, you don't think you can sell it for what it's worth, call us.
Yeah, don't
Let
wait
us
till
see if
3
we can
months.
help you.
Let's start now. Hey, I can't make next month's payment.
See what we can do.
Let's start gathering all the information we need
Yes.
so that in 90 days we are ready.
Yes.
So obviously we can try to sell it now for what you owe, but we want to be ready for worst case scenario, which we hope worst case scenario is just a short sale.
Right.
So,
Okay. So then we wanted to talk about foreclosures. And we had kind of touched just briefly last week that, in a reminder, the short sale is a person. Short sale is selling from
An individual.
a dude that you could maybe run into at Walmart. And then a foreclosure is actually you're dealing with the institution. So you're trying to negotiate with a bank or with usually with their vendors, with their
Right.
asset managers that you'll probably never see. I mean, most likely, unless it's
Rare,
a local
rare,
bank.
rare.
Unless it's local bank, you will never see the people that we are negotiating with.
Right.
And so it's a totally different ball game in every way, shape, or form.
Right.
So first, let's talk about like a HUD foreclosure because those are a heck ton of work.
Can we talk about, sorry, I'm going to cut you off.
No, you go ahead.
Can we talk about,
You're the boss.
so not usually here. So when it goes when it goes from the owner to the institution, how
Okay.
does the institution take possession of the property?
You tell me
Okay. So
because I know you want to.
yeah. So when you lose the house, when the individual quits making payments and the bank finally takes possession, it's a court. It's a lawsuit. They sue you, less pendants at the court. They go in front of the judge. Hey, they didn't make their payments. We want possession of the house. Okay. Then you have to do a sheriff's sale.
Okay.
So to get possession of the house, you have deed in lieu of foreclosure, which you
Right.
used to sign the deed over and hand it to the bank. They now own it, which is better than a foreclosure. So short sale, deed in lieu, and then foreclosure.
Right.
So if you don't do a deed in lieu of foreclosure and give them back the house, then the option that goes to sheriff's sale. Sheriff's sale is a very risky way to buy a home. Again, you're buying it at the steps of the courthouse with very little information.
With a sheriff's sale, you kind of talked about this in the last show. You do not get the opportunity to go into the house and you do not get the opportunity to do inspections.
And there might be
You
people
are-
living in the house.
Right. And you don't even get a title opinion. Like you literally go to the courthouse, you bid, you win, you get the deed, boom, you're done, right?
30 days. Has to be confirmed at the sheriff's sale.
Okay.
So sheriff's sale, I buy the house, then I got to wait 30 days so that the homeowner has the right to, they still own the house until the confirmation of the sheriff's sale.
Okay.
So it's about 30 days. So during that 30 days, you can have an abstract bill, do a title opinion. If there's a problem with the title, they have to give you a sheriff's deed saying that there's no issues with the title. If you have a title opinion that says there's an issue, like, oh, that guy really doesn't own it, then you can back out.
Okay.
So there is a little bit of, you have a little bit of a window. If you know what you're doing, you can do a title opinion. You got to be quick.
But so let's say my title opinion for my sheriff's sale shows, I don't know, like a tax judgment, $100,000 tax judgment. My house is worth $80,000. Am I still buying that house?
Yeah, because the sheriff's sale wipes all, as long as they're notified, they're wiped from the judgments, all of them. So a sheriff's sale clears all judgments.
I swear we just had a situation where we ended up having to pay the judgments of things that had happened prior to a sheriff's sale.
Property tax?
No.
Is not included.
I thought it was like mowing liens.
That was an error.
Okay.
Because it was filed after the sheriff's sale.
Okay.
And it wasn't included in the sheriff's sale, so it had to be.
So it applied. Okay, gotcha.
So it's one of those like, so yes, so anything that's a municipal lien or a judgment, you want to make sure that they're checking those because those don't get cleaned off.
Okay.
With a sheriff's sale if they're not done correctly.
Okay. So seller can still come back in between the sheriff's sale and the confirmation. They can still take back the property, and then you don't have to spend the money but you don't get the house. Okay. But let's say the confirmation happens, you get the house, then you're what?
Your owner.
Your owner?
Your owner. Now you go to the house.
The good, the bad, the ugly.
The good, the bad, the ugly. You go to the house, you have no keys. You have no nothing.
Break in.
You get to break in.
But it's your house, so it's fine.
Your house, it's fine.
You're not going to jail for that.
If somebody's living there, now you have to honor the Oklahoma Landlord-Tenant Act.
Oh my gosh, you have to evict them.
You have to evict them. So if you want them out, so I have an investor that's bought a couple at sheriff's sale. He goes to the house, knocks on the door, and it's like, hey, I didn't realize you was living here. No, we've been renting. We didn't realize it was in foreclosure. What are you paying rent? $800 a month. Great.
Okay,
sign here. And he just continues their rent.
Which is kind of awesome.
It's just kind of awesome.
Because you didn't, I don't know.
Didn't have to evict them, and then you didn't have to do nothing. And the crazy thing is the guy that was making $800 a month wasn't making his payment.
I know, right? Okay. All right, so moving on. So there's the sheriff's sale. And then, so we're talking about people that we're buying from.
So if an individual buys it at the sheriff's sale, now they own the house. If nobody goes to the sheriff's sale, nobody buys it, now the institution owns it.
Okay.
And then they start all that process.
So now the institution, we're going to fast forward.
Okay.
The institution has listed the property. Now it's available for purchase.
Okay.
Okay. So a lot of times, again, I'm going to just tag on Julia here in our office. She does so many foreclosures. She and Kathy Brown are the current foreclosure queens, right? Wouldn't you say that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Kathy Brown's been doing foreclosures since before you and I were.
Before our parents were born.
Really?
Yeah.
Our parents are not. No, there's only like 15 years.
She's been doing it since she's 20.
Yeah, but okay, well, close to. Okay, anyway. Man, Kathy Brown is a rock star.
Yeah. Can you imagine she's put up with all you guys for
you first?
Few years.
Anyway, gosh, threw me like that. Okay. Anyway, all that to say, the work that they do for foreclosure absolutely blows my mind.
Blows my mind.
They are not dealing with the people that are really in charge. They're dealing with an asset manager.
Right.
And the asset manager says, do this, do this, do this. They've never seen the property. They're absolutely clueless. They don't understand Woodward. That's why sometimes you see prices that you think are out of this world whenever foreclosure comes on the market. We give them a broker price opinion. Julia and Kathy do that almost monthly, I think. Right? It is absolutely crazy. But this vendor is trying to get back as much money as they can. Okay.
Yes.
When you go to make your offer on these properties, here's things I want you to know. One, response time is not quick.
No.
Like they are going to wait and see if they can get other offers in before they respond to you. They do not care that you came in first. They don't care. They just want to see all the offers. And then they don't care if you just gave them the amount of money that they asked for. They're still going to come back to more than two offers or to more than one offer and say, we want your best and highest offer. They rarely take an offer that is sent in. It almost always comes back with a counter or with best and highest. Explain best and highest.
So best and highest doesn't always mean the most amount of money. So best could be cash as is, where it is, no inspections, close in 2 weeks. And it's
Right.
$10,000 lower than the last offer. That's how I purchased my house in Wichita. We were the best offer.
Right.
We weren't the highest offer.
Right. I'm going to talk about that again a little bit more in a minute.
Okay.
But I just really want to reiterate that buyers need to be aware
Yes.
that this turns into a mess, and it feels like they're trying to make you auction because they kind of are.
They are.
Like they want everybody
Because
to
they don't know
offer,
you
and
either.
then they want you to
don't
come
have
back.
No emotion to
Yeah,
them.
there's-
It's not like, hey, I'm so excited you're buying the house. No, it's like,
It is all business.
it's all business.
All business. Okay, so the offer and the response time to the offer, lengthy.
Right.
And then we make you sign our contract most of the time. And then they tell us, no, we don't like your contract. We want you to use our contract.
Yes.
Or if you use your contract, you also have to use our addendum, which negates half of what you put into your contract. So the paperwork is extreme.
It
and
is.
if you were a detailed person, you might ask for that in advance so that you have plenty of time to read through it. Because I'm talking some of these, I know back in the day, some of our packets were like 30, 45 pages.
Yes.
I mean, it was insane.
It was crazy.
The foreclosure company is also going to require a proof of funds. So either like your bank statement saying that you truly have $100,000 that you can purchase this home with, or they're going to want a lender letter. And they used to be very specific. Like I remember finally, because I had a lender letter rejected multiple times. And I finally had to say, I need your letter to say, buyer is pre-approved to purchase this property at this address for this amount, pending clear title.
Yes.
Like it was so dang specific, and they were kicking back my lender letters.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. Okay, so there's some things that they're going to require of you with your offer. Copy of your earnest money check, but we don't even know who you're supposed to write it to half the
Right.
time. So some of it feels so ludicrous. Like it is absolutely nuts. Be prepared. Be ready to take that step because we know it's a pain in the rear for you.
It's going to be invasive. We're going to be calling,
Oh
hey, we
my
need letters.
gosh.
We actually need it by 5 o'clock. It's 4:25.
Yeah.
Get to go.
You have to go to the bank right now. Like,
Yes.
It feels horrible and we hate it and we're sorry. But if you want your offer to be seen well, that's what we got to do.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Then once we're finally under contract, so they accepted your lender letter and your offer and your earnest money, and they accepted you above and or beyond the other offers that were submitted. Now we do all the signing. You may have already signed your contract, but now they're going to sign it and then they're going to send it back with more things for you to sign.
Yes.
Just
Yep.
be aware.
Be
Like
aware.
I think they just make stuff up. I think they're like, wow, this guy signed everything.
Watch him. We'll
They
make him jump through
initialed
this
it.
hoop, and then we're going to make him jump through there. This is so much fun. What a game.
I mean, I know I sound ridiculous, but it feels
It
like
does
that.
feel like that.
It already says it's as is right here 6 times, but they also want it to be right here that it
Yes.
says it. And so, I mean, it's absolutely crazy. Be ready for the paperwork. We're sorry we didn't make it up. We don't want to do it either.
Yeah.
Trust me, I don't want to do it either.
Yeah.
But we have to. So be prepared for that.
Yeah.
Okay, then during the process, we talked about this, I think, last show. I can't remember because it all runs together. But once we're under a contract, we get your earnest money deposited. It may not be local. They might make us send it to their bank in San Francisco. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, we just can't tell you in advance because a lot of times we don't know until we're under contract and they send us those paperwork. So now we might have the option, have the option to do inspections.
Yes.
You most likely will have to de-winterize property, do your inspections, and potentially winterize it back.
Yes.
Be ready for that.
Yep.
They are not going to turn the utilities on for you.
Goes back to risk versus reward.
Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
couple $1,000 worth of investment to hopefully buy this house worth the risk.
Yes. Okay. Once we get all that finished, then there's like this rush for closing. And if you've got a lender that isn't like a local in-house lender, bless your heart, because it's really going to be fun. Because the way that they want to do things, the way that you need to do things, it gets all kind of hairy. It seems like we always have to have that settlement statement. 72 hours, I think, is what it normally is. It's been a while since we have to do one of these. They want that settlement statement to them like 72 hours before closing. A lot of times the banks don't even get those done until a day or two before closing. So it's kind of crazy, like without a doubt. We have to navigate a lot of those waters. You just got to be patient with us.
So cash foreclosure is buying with cash is like option A. You know, you have a 75% chance of making it work.
Right.
Local in-house conventional loan bank, you know, it's like 30%.
Right.
And you use some crazy mortgage company out of Tennessee, you know, our likelihood of making that thing all work is 10%. Like it's going to be hoops and juggles and skip, jump, roll.
Yes.
Tuck and roll type situation.
Tuck and roll. Okay. All right. Next up, I want to talk about the loan types since you kind of touched on that. So the offers, they definitely love seeing those cash offers first.
Right.
And then they like this in-house, just like you said. But when we're doing a secondary market loan, so this might mean even that you're using Bank 7 or you're using Ceiling State Bank, you're using one of our local banks, but it's a secondary market loan. So it's not their in-house, it's the other part that requires so much more work.
Right.
Okay, so whenever we have that kind of a loan, what challenges are we looking at? Are they going to do repairs? First and foremost, I mean, the lender is going to require an appraisal.
Yes.
On a secondary market loan, they're more likely to require repairs.
Absolutely.
Based off the appraisal.
So if there's a foreclosure and it needs a bunch of repairs, we're going to say,
not a good idea.
Not a good idea. You're going to risk all this money, and the chances of you getting a little bitty chance, like very little. So
I'm going to put you on the spot because we didn't talk about this a while ago. I think one of our agents, a couple of our agents in our office co-opted recently and sold a foreclosed property. It may have even been a manufactured home. And it ended up being an FHA loan, which is a fantastic loan product, but a little bit harder in the terms of condition. FHA wants safe, sanitary, all these different things. They have some very specific guidelines for how the condition of the property needs to be.
Right.
This foreclosed property did not meet those conditions.
It was in the middle of nowhere.
In the middle of nowhere. How much money was spent in order by the agents, by you, by the buyer?
So
to get it ready to close.
So it's against the law for the agents to spend money on the house.
Oh, so it wasn't the agents.
So the sellers.
I
mean, the buyers.
The buyers. Not the agents. I hear you.
Not the agents.
Yes.
The buyers risked their funds to make this thing happen.
How much did they have to pay in order to get into that house? Just to do the repairs, to get the appraisal cleared, to allow them to close their loan.
Yes. It was like $700 and almost $800.
Okay. This is on top of inspections.
And this was quick. Like the appraiser's coming today. Here's the things he says he needs.
Get out there and get it done.
He can't be back for a week. So we're like, so I called the appraiser. Hey, here's all the pictures of the property. Here's what we're assuming you're going to ask for. What all do you need? He's like, well, by your pictures, here's what we think we need.
Right.
So the buyer and a contractor and a couple of his buddies from the real estate office show up and we helped re-skirt the house, change a bunch of plugs, turn the water on, change out faucets because it'd been setting so long. Like, for really what we spent on the property, it was insane amount of work for the little bitty amount of money we spent. It should have been, if I hired a real contractor and nobody came over and helped, it'd have been $2,000 or $3,000.
Right. Okay, so I wanted to make that point because that buyer took a heck ton of risk financially and also the amount of time that he spent, all the different things in order to be able to close the property.
Yeah. Like
sometimes it's that whole, the value of the possession is seen in the intensity of the pursuit. Like he valued the idea of home ownership and thus was very intense in his pursuit of it. In fact, putting down money that was above and beyond the appraisal that he has to pay for his loan and his earnest money and above and beyond the title work payment. I mean, all the different things. Then he also did repairs before he owned the property.
Right.
That seems crazy.
Yeah.
We hate that. We don't like it. But we need you to understand if you've got a specific loan type and a certain type of foreclosed property, these are things you might need to be aware of and be ready for. We are going to let you know when we look at the property with you. We've got major concerns about this going FHA, USDA, VA. This is better conventional. This is better in-house. This is best cash. I mean, occasionally the in-house bank loans are like, yeah, no, I'm not even touching that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we try to help you to be aware of that. But we also need you to be able to do some of that work too.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. What is another way when you're making your offer? Like, I know the answer to this. I don't know if you're going to say what I want you to say, but
yes, Kindra, what would you like me to say?
Whenever I make my offer, how do I make my offer look the best? You already said it. How do I make my offer look the best? Like, I don't care. I want this house and nobody's getting in my way.
Cash
How do I make
as
it the
is,
best?
no inspections.
Cash as is, no inspections. Almost every one of those foreclosures now have like these little drop downs. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. How many days do you want for inspection? 0.
Yep.
How quickly can you close? 30 days, sooner if clear title. Like, have your agent make those notes in, because there's always a place at the bottom for remarks. And actually, like the investor that I've worked with quite a bit, it's an in-house bank loan, no inspections, pre-approved, close as soon as we have clear title. That's all we have to have. Like, we got to get it done, and we're willing to close sooner. If you can close sooner, we can close sooner.
Right.
Like 100%. But here's what's tricky. Like, we're literally saying, if you want to win, say no inspections, but we're also saying never
Please
buy
don't
without
do that.
inspections. So
No.
it's really, really tricky. I think here's the
I guess it
trick.
comes back to risk versus reward and how capable you are of getting things fixed.
Well, and I think it also comes back to if you're going to live in this home and you're putting your children in this home, or if this is you as an investor and I mean, you've already done the numbers. If you had to rebuild this house, how much would it be? Okay, I know. And you're not worried about it, then don't worry about it and say no inspections. Boom, your offer just looked better. If you're thinking, I'm pretty tight on my budget, I've got a family I'm about to put in this home, you may not want to take that risk.
Right.
And we wouldn't want you to take that risk.
Yep.
So
you got to protect risk versus reward.
yes, risk versus reward. Okay. What else? Oh, how do you, whenever you're looking at a foreclosure, like, what is the thing that you look for to help you to know if it's going to be a good investment? Are there certain factors that you're looking for?
So I have an investor. He calls me and says, "Hey, I looked at this house. What do you think?" And that means he wants me to tell him what the house is worth fixed up.
Yes.
So then we go back to, when we go to the house, I'm like, "Hey, I think it's a $200,000 house." Then we walk through the house and be like, "Okay, the heater's old. If I have to replace it, it's this much money." He looks under the sinks. What kind of plumbing is it? Is it PVC? Is it copper? Is it galvanized? Is it PEX? What is it? Do I have to replace all that? If it's been vacant for more than a year, he just automatically assumes I'm doing a lot of plumbing.
Right.
Replacing every faucet in the house because they're dry gaskets. I'm probably replacing the water heater because it probably froze. So he calculates kind of what that is. And then, then the roof, we get on the roof, make sure there's no major damage on the roof. Water leaks in the ceilings. We just make sure then we estimate like flooring. So your biggest systems are your plumbing, electrical, and heat and air. So we look at the breaker box, look at where the electric comes into the house, check the plugs, make sure they're not black. Like, we check the major systems that we can visually see. If you walk outside and you see that the sewer line outside cap is all dug up and exposed and you can see trash out of it, well, obviously they've had sewer problems. We know we're going to have to replace the sewer line. So we have all of the warning signs, we've been through the system. So if I go through a house, I'm like, "Hey, this is a red flag. See how the screws have been worn out on the electrical panel? Something's going on here." So you can see the warning signs. So we'll go through all those and then we calculate it. So it's $200,000 house. Worst case scenario, I'm going to spend $50,000 fixing all this stuff. So then I'm going to make my offer at $125,000. I mean, he just kind of got his formula. So again, that's without an inspection. That's just us with lots of experienced non-inspectors.
Right.
Seeing what we've seen and collaborating together on how we would predict failure.
Okay. I wanted to know, that's my last question. Here we go. Over here. Competitions for foreclosed properties. Is it competitive to buy a foreclosed property?
So in Oklahoma City, yes. Like when they have a sheriff's sale, there could be 40, 50 people there.
Really?
It's crazy.
How many people do you usually see at a sheriff's sale in Woodward County?
A couple, 1 or 2.
2.
Yes.
The 1 or 2 I've been to, there's been I think I saw 4 or 5 buyers one time.
So, in Woodward, like there was a foreclosure we went to a while back, and we both knew the people that lived there, and we drove by the house. We're like, yeah, we're correct. So we went to the foreclosure auction, and we both said, okay, it's going to take $5,000 to hazmat clean the house up. It needs a new roof, it needs new windows. It probably needs everything inside. Like, it's almost a tear down, but it's in a great location. So, like 25,000. But we knew it was going to bring 50 because the bank in Yeehaw land has no idea the things that we know.
Right.
And sure enough, they bought it for like 55,000. And we are going to go take pictures of that house today because this reminds me of it. If you want to be scared of buying a house without looking at it, this is the house. This is it. We're going to go take pictures, and I wish I could record the smell.
I'm glad you can't.
I can taste it right now.
I don't.
From here.
I just need you to stop. What you just said reminded me. So a lot of times the banks send different agents out, and they send different appraisers out to do a drive-by inspection.
Right.
They want you to drive by, take pictures from the road, and don't think that's not weird and creepy feeling.
Yes.
Pictures of the signs to show that you're really there. Pictures of the mailbox to show that you've got the right number. Like all these different things. That's how they base their evaluation.
Mm-hmm.
So the outside might be kind of cute, but the inside might be that it hasn't been cleaned in 7 years. And it might be that the plumbing quit 7 years ago. I mean, I have a house in my brain right now, too, that I can think of. Like, you saw the outside and you think, that's really cute. And you go inside and you have to walk through paths that doesn't even show the floor. Like, they don't know what the inside is because they don't usually send people in.
Not till they own it.
Not till they own it. So, okay. What else? Man, we're almost out of time. Do you have any success stories on foreclosures?
Oh man, lots. I've got lots of good stories. Like I've had an investor guy buy a couple of houses, and we turned and sold them and made 20 and 30 grand, like quick, like fast. I've had some families purchase some homes at a strong discount. Walked in, house was tip top safe. So basically, like the original people owned the house.
Right.
They tried to sell, just couldn't do it. Didn't understand the short sale process. Just pulled it off the market and moved. Well, they'd already moved. So the house was ready to sell.
Yes.
They leave.
Yes.
The house was in tip top shape. So when it went foreclosure, it was ready to live in. It was an immaculate house. We've had families purchase those types of deals. I've had lots of good. The bad ones are very awful. Like they're burned into my nasal passages. You just mention it, I can smell it. Like it's bad.
There've been a couple that working.
We had one that was sitting vacant a year, maybe more than a year, and we spent 15 or 20 grand trying to get the smell out of the house. I mean, we left all the windows and doors open because we didn't care. So what if a raccoon goes in there and dies? It'll smell better.
Oh, my.
So, yeah.
Ah, that's a nice note to end on.
Yeah. So, there you go. If you want to buy a foreclosure.
Smell a foreclosure today?
Yeah. Call us. 580-334-2303.
580-216-0090.
Yep. Thanks for listening.
We'll see you next time.